For decades, Yugoslavia stood as a geopolitical anomaly. Tucked into the heart of the Balkans, it was a unified socialist state that managed to hold together a deeply diverse mix of ethnic and religious groups. But by the 1990s, that delicate balance fractured. The country descended into the most brutal, devastating conflict Europe had seen since World War II. When people explain this collapse today, they often rely on a very simple story. The general assumption is that these different regional groups always hated each other, and that the violence was a natural result of those historical tensions. Looking closer at the records reveals a more complex reality. This history points to a modern development, a strategy manufactured by political elites to maintain control as the state's foundation crumbled. To understand how peaceful neighbors actually turn into enemies, we have to look past the battlefields. We need to examine the invisible economic systems that were holding the nation together in the first place and see exactly what happened when the money ran out. The modern Yugoslav state was built on a specific political equilibrium, carefully maintained by its leader, Josip Broz Tito. For decades, he kept strict control over the country's varied republics, but strict political authority only goes so far. The real glue of the nation was its unique socialist economic system, which successfully provided a remarkably high standard of living for everyday citizens. With steady jobs, with reliable housing, and a modernizing economy, people increasingly saw themselves as Yugoslavs first. The historical ethnic divisions faded into the background because daily life was visibly improving. That kind of unity comes with a severe vulnerability. It relies entirely on the government's ongoing ability to deliver economic stability and basic necessities. This chart shows exactly what happened in the 1980s. Yugoslavia's foreign debt and inflation rates spiked simultaneously, sending the economy into a terminal decline. Those macroeconomic numbers hit the ground hard. Citizens who had grown used to prosperity suddenly faced severe rationing, waiting in line for eggs and basic household goods. Tito died right as this economic crisis took hold. Without him, the central government was paralyzed, unable to stop the collapse as desperate crowds poured into the streets, holding up portraits of Tito in a plea for the old stability. This situation created a severe legitimacy crisis. Regional politicians in charge could no longer point to a booming economy to justify their rule, and they realized they were rapidly losing their grip on power. The initial cracks in Yugoslavia appeared within its systems. Violence emerged as politicians searched for a survival strategy, while the country's economic floor gave way. To distract the public from the empty shelves and worthless currency, those cornered political elites made a highly dangerous pivot. They deliberately weaponized hypernationalism. State media networks rolled out aggressive propaganda campaigns. They intentionally broadcasted rhetoric designed to turn neighbors against each other, replacing the failed economic system with a new, ethnically based power structure. Politicians like Slobodan Milosevic ruthlessly exploited this manufactured nationalist wave. By positioning himself as the ultimate defender of a single ethnic group, he successfully radicalized a desperate public and consolidated his own authority. That extreme political rhetoric didn't stay on the television. It rapidly materialized into organized, systemic military violence across the entire region. The ensuing bloodshed provides evidence that the ancient hatreds theory is incomplete. This was a modern, calculated tactic used by politicians to secure their own survival. The real existential threat lies with opportunistic leaders who are willing to engineer hatred among neighbors to keep their thrones.